Costume and fashion designer Bob Mackie is a 9-time Emmy winner, 3-time Oscar nominee, and #1 on the speed dial of a jaw-dropping array of celebrities. Now Mackie is the costume designer for the CHER Show, creating and revisiting looks for the 3 stars portraying Cher, the superstar he has dressed in sequins, feathers, beads, and sometimes very little for over half a century.
If I could turn back time, if I could find a way, I'd take back those words that hurt you, and you'd stay.
Tell me about your first encounter with Cher.
Well, my first encounter was she was a guest on the Carol Burnett Show in 1967, so I've known her a long time. She came in for a fitting, and she and Sonny were both on the show, and then they were in the Showboat finale, so she loved that. It was like real show business for her. There was a bead coming off of a beaded dress of Carol's, and I was trying to tie it off in the hallway, and she says, "Oh, I love beaded dresses." I said, "You do?" And she says, "One day, when we get enough money, I want you to make me one." I said, "Well, when you're ready, I'm ready."
Tell me what appealed to you about working with Cher at that time.
When I knew that I was going to be working with her the first time, I thought, oh, she's this hulking kind of goth, kind of weird. We didn't know what to think of her. I mean, Sonny and Cher became like the world's first hippies, and the clothes changed and everything. But I always thought she was going to be just kind of sullen, because all the pictures, she's, looking at the camera and with her hand up on Sonny's shoulder to make him look even shorter. And she wasn't at all. She was delightful and cute and little Audrey Hepburn-esque kind of girl, but she had this black hair and beautiful skin and long neck, and just like somebody you'd want to dress, really.
Cher inspired Mackie with her unconventional look that was not the standard of the day.
Pretty girls in those days were all kind of boopsy and blonde and had a big front and a flip. So, that wasn't anything like Cher at all. And I was like quite fascinated with her. And as it worked out, the minute she hit the TV screen on a regular basis, all of a sudden the flips were kind of, were disappearing, and long straight hair parted in the middle became the only hairdo there was on the young women in the country.
Tell me about dressing 3 women as Cher.
It's tricky because they're not Cher. They're not necessarily built like Cher or look like her, yet they're playing her, and they're playing 3 different age places. They all look young, but so does Cher, so what's the difference?
Mackie is so important in Cher's life and career that he's not just the costume designer of the CHER Show, he's also a character, played by Michael Buress.
I'm in a fitting with Bob Mackie, who's designing clothes for me to wear as Bob Mackie in a scene that takes place in a fitting. And it's just the whole process of it could have been so fraught and difficult, but Bob Mackie is the nicest man in the world, and he made me feel so at home and so comfortable from the get-go. So I have to say it's a responsibility, but I also feel very at ease with him, and I'm very grateful that he is that kind of person.
So what is it like for you to be portrayed in a Broadway musical?
Well, it's the last thing I ever thought in the world would ever happen, but it was kind of fun in a way, But it still confuses me sometimes, especially when they introduce the Cher called Lady in the show. She comes out and she introduces, "Ladies and gentlemen, Bob Mackie." It makes me kind of like just twitch a bit, because I'm sitting in the audience and Michael's up there taking the bow, and I went, "Oh yeah, right, okay." But I never quite get used to that. It's weird.
He was very aware that I was watching him while we were interacting, so he was not very Bob around me initially. I could see that he was like, he's watching me and I'm watching him. And he's a very joyful person, but he also is extremely structured, very organized. His construction is stunning. I mean, they all look like they're just going to disintegrate. And then you get close to the garments and they're impeccably constructed. He's really a genius and has a respect for old Hollywood.
Was it fun to dress yourself in the Broadway show?
Well, I thought, what should I put on him or me? What would I wear? And then I was saying, well, it's supposed to be the 70s. So I put a turtleneck on him and a sport coat, and that's kind of what I wore. But he has a snakeskin jacket at one point and a turquoise jacket at another. It's a little more than I used to dress.
Literally the first thing he said to me, "Just so you know, I would never wear anything I've designed for you," which I thought is true. He would never ask for that kind of attention that he affords all of us who are lucky enough to wear his designs.
Mackie is known for his outrageous body-bearing ensembles, but as the designer of the show, he also had simpler tasks.
There's one scene which is sort of interesting. She's going off to New York to audition for Robert Altman, and I put her in just just jeans and a little jean jacket and a t-shirt. Because to me, she should have been down and kind of simple and, hoping that she could do the audition and get the part in the play. And when Cher saw it, she thought, well, why she got those Kmart jeans on? Why is she so simple? I didn't dress like that. And I said, oh, but this is for the show. It's for that, so she looks vulnerable. And she went, oh. And of course I knew in my heart, I knew that even at her penniless moment in time, there was probably 400 outfits in the closet that she could have put on, but it just seemed right for the time.
It sounds like she has a lot of opinions.
She has a lot of opinions. Nothing intimidates her. She says, don't ever dress me like a housewife, unless I'm playing one, of course. But she doesn't want to ever look ordinary.
He doesn't like his clothes to ever appear vulgar. He has such a strong sensibility about shape and body, and he makes everybody he designs clothes for feel beautiful, regardless of their shape. But I also learned a lot about his life and his losses and his difficulties, and it hasn't all been sunshine and rainbows for Bob, and I think that's something that he and Cher have in common.
She just realizes that I kind of understand her. I have lots of other clients who are not like her at all, but she's kind of the most notorious, I guess.